Hello friends, welcome to Java Learners. In this video, I am going to explain how to create RESTful service using Spring Boot application. I have created application already to save the time. I will show you the steps how to create the project, initial structure. Go to File, New, and select Maven project. Click Next. Create a simple project. Check this option. Click Next. Group ID is nothing but package. Artifact ID is nothing but your project name, rest. Okay, click finish. Okay, that's all I have done to create the project, and now I will go through the example which I have created. The main advantage of the Spring Boot application is we need not add all the dependencies manually. Instead, we have the concept called starters in Spring Boot application. Starter is nothing but a group of dependencies grouped under one category. Okay, when if you see this, the first thing that we have to do for developing the Spring Boot application is adding this parent in the form.xml. Okay, and to develop this web application, generally we need to add so many jars manually in form.xml, right? We have to add around 5 to 6 jars for the Spring Core, and for the Spring Web we have to add additional jars, and we have to add all those manually one by one. Instead of that, Spring Boot has simplified this process, and if you want to develop the web application, just declare this Spring Boot starter web. Okay, and if you see this, with this dependency we have got so many jars downloaded for us. Okay, this process is done by Spring Boot starter. Okay, just with one dependency we have got all the Spring related jars and Spring Boot and the embedded Tomcat. Okay, one more thing, for the normal Spring application we need server, right, to deploy the application, but in Spring Boot it comes with embedded Tomcat by default. So when you can run it as normal standalone Java application, you need not deploy it in another server. It comes with embedded Tomcat by default. If you want to change, you can change to any other server, but by default it comes with Tomcat. Okay, so all those jars will be downloaded using Maven by adding this dependency. Okay, if you have observed that Spring version is 5.2.2, but if you observe, we haven't mentioned Spring version anywhere in the pom.xml, right? But how does it know that it has to use Spring 5? It inherits the version from this parent. Okay, we have declared Spring Boot starter parent and its version, right? This is going to inform which version of jars it has to download. Okay, that is the advantage of parent. Okay, so we have added one plugin, Spring Boot Maven plugin. This will create the jar file. Okay, executable jar file, so we can run the application from command line using Java command as well. Okay, that is the main advantage. You can run as a standalone application, the Spring Boot application. Okay, so now you have understood the dependencies that we need to add, and now we will go to the code. Okay, This is the entry point for our Spring Boot application. Write a simple class, annotate with @Spring Boot application. Okay. Spring Boot application, even though it is one annotation, it is equal to writing @configuration. Okay. @enable auto configuration @component scan. Okay. With this one annotation, sometimes you might get this in interview question. So this Spring Boot application annotation is equal to these three annotations. Okay, what does these three annotations do? Okay, let us see. You already know that @component scans all the beans which has a @service controller. Okay, that will be taken care by component scan. If you in the normal non-Spring Boot application, generally we write this annotation on the top of the class which has main configuration, right? So instead of that, in Spring Boot application, just with this annotation, we need not explicitly specify. And generally we mention the path like the package from which we need to scan, right? But here we haven't mentioned. This is because by default it will scan all the packages. So this Spring Boot main is in org.jl, right? So by default it scans all the packages and sub packages under this org.jl. So that is the default. If you want to change that, you can specify explicitly which package it needs to scan for the component service and all those things. Okay, so that is the component scan. Enable auto configuration means by seeing the jars in the class path, the Spring automatically configures some beans which are required. So it is done in the background automatically for us. So this is the purpose of enable auto configuration. Configuration means, suppose if you like in the older versions of Spring, generally we declare a bean in XML, right? In Java based configuration, we can avoid that by writing a class which has @bean annotation on the method, and the class should be annotated with @configuration. So what does it specify? @configuration specifies that this class has bean objects. Okay, you can write a method annotated with @bean. So that class should be annotated with @configuration. So instead of writing all this Spring Boot application is enough. Okay, this is equal to writing all those three annotations. Okay, so then after annotating the class with @Spring Boot application, you have to pass the class name to Spring application.run method. Okay, that's it for the Spring Boot. To make this class as Spring Boot application, just you need to pass this, and if you right click on this class, this will be deployed in the embedded Tomcat, this application. Okay, now I have written a simple REST controller. Let us see how to write the REST controller in Spring Boot. You have to write a class and annotate with @REST controller. This is nothing special in Spring Boot, just the normal Spring MVC way. Okay, I will show you how to write two methods with get and post. Okay, so this has get employees. I have created the employee class and three employee objects and added to the list and returning that. You know that the REST controller will directly return the response, it won't be, the view won't be returned. In normal Spring MVC applications, you will return the view and that view will be rendered. But in the REST controller, the response will be sent back to the browser or client. Okay, there is no view concept in the REST controller, right? Okay, see, I did not do anything to convert all these three objects which is in the list into JSON. By default, this response will be converted into JSON. We need not add any jars. Automatically, it will be converted. And just to explain how to pass a header from the client, to accept that header from the client, to read the header which is passed by the browser or client, I have created a variable and annotated with @request header. So what happens, I will show you when we are explaining using the postman. Okay, this is get mapping, this is post. In this post, we have to annotate with @post mapping. Okay, this is the method, and @request body. By default, this method accepts JSON. Okay, that JSON which has employee ID, employee first name and last name. Whenever you annotate with @request body, the incoming JSON request will be converted into employee object when you annotate with @request body. So that's what I will show you how to pass the JSON from postman. Okay, so I have printed the employee first name after receiving that. Okay, so I have explained how to create the Spring Boot application, right? In my previous video, I have explained normal controller. Here I have shown you REST controller. So get mapping and post mapping. I will repeat. @request body, this annotation instructs to convert the JSON request that is coming from the request into employee object. It happens automatically. You need not do anything. This is normal employee object with the three properties, nothing else. And in application properties, okay, forget about this I have added for my previous example. Okay, remember this. By default, the embedded Tomcat runs on 8080. Okay, but I have another process running on 8080, so I need to change the default port. How to change that? You have to create a file, properties file, with the name application.properties, and keep that in src main resources, this package. Okay, this will be read by Spring Boot, and it understands that we are giving a new port. So the application now, when you run that Spring Boot class, the embedded Tomcat runs on 8888. Okay, let us run this. Okay, I have already started this, so that's why we got issue. Let me run again. Right click, run as. If you see, I am not deploying in any Tomcat application, but it runs automatically in the embedded Tomcat. Just like standalone Java application, run this class, that's it. Okay, if you see, now the application is running on port 8888. Okay, now let us see how to test this REST controller from browser. The get mapping we can test from browser. Okay, what is the URL for this? Employees. Okay, I have already tested this. Okay, what is the port number? Okay, I have added this request header, so that is why it is expecting. Since I can't pass the header from browser, I will show you from Postman. Okay. Go to the Postman. This is for testing the REST service. Select get, and after the port number, you give the employees and hit send button. Okay. If you see this example, we have added 3 employee objects into the list and simply were returning the list. And I haven't written any code to convert this array list of employee objects into JSON. This has been done automatically. Okay. So this is, since we have written 3 objects, it is written as array of JSON objects. Okay, now we will see how to make a post request. Okay, what is the URL for sending the request? Add employee. Okay, what we need to pass? We need to pass a JSON which is having ID, first name, last name. When you send that JSON request to this, that request will be converted to employee object automatically. We need not do anything. Just annotate with @request body. Okay. Now, after receiving this, I am printing the name. Let us see how to do that from Postman. Change this to post and change the URL to add employee. Okay. And since we need to send the request body, right? I mean the JSON in the body. So select the body and post the JSON object. Okay. I will make it 100 Rishita. Okay. This JSON object will be converted into employee object. Okay. Select from the drop down here. Select JSON. By default, it expects JSON. Click send. Okay. Since I have not sent any response, by default it is a success response. Okay, so the operation is successful. We are able to post this. Let us check if we are able to get this name in the console. I have printed in console. Okay, we got the name, the JSON from the JSON. That JSON object is converted here using a direct request body, and I have printed that. Okay, that's all, friends. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel for further updates and share it with your friends if you like this video. Thank you.